All set.
It's Carol Bard, and we're starting the meeting at 7:05, and we will discuss the minutes for both October and November at next month's meeting. Okay. Now up to you.
So now it's off to me, the financial report. Since the last meeting, we've had $203.71 in deposits to our user fee account and $300.54 to the gift fund. The gift fund deposit is a monthly payment that the Friends of the Library are making this year. They're covering the costs of the Wi-Fi hotspots, the public printer, copier printer lease, and any program supplies that we purchase. So every month we'll be getting a check from the Friends to keep our gift fund operating, which will enable us to keep money in state aid for paying part-time people. We had 3 sets of invoices that we did this since last meeting. So I'll just read through the dates and the amounts. On October 14th, building maintenance supplies, $88.20. Books and periodicals, $2,044.92. Equipment maintenance costs, $81.98. Gift fund, $476.35. Building maintenance costs, $1,450.27. Postage, $55. Professional development, $10. Office supplies, $168.84. Technical maintenance services, $109.30 for a total of $4,484.86. The October 28th batch was books and periodicals, $4,470.87. Dues and membership, $620. Gas, $156.90. Gift fund, $202.44. Office supplies, $238.33. Technical maintenance services, $641.98 for a total of $6,950.57. And our most recent batch on 11/2 was books and periodicals, $766.55. Dues and memberships, $148. The gift fund, $15. Postage, $110. Office supplies, $141.67. Janitorial supplies, $289.70. And COVID-19 supplies, $54.87 for a total of $1,525.79. That's our financial, the bills that were paid since the last meeting. The next thing for my director's report, the new service the library started offering this month is study room reservations. Began on November 3rd. I think we've only had 2 people that have used the meet room since we started it last week? No, almost 2 weeks ago. So it's available. People can place their reservations online. I don't think people really want to be sitting inside for any length of time, which is fine, but the room's available. So the first thing we want to discuss is the patron survey. So it was included in the meeting materials. I don't know if you want to go through one question at a time, or if you just want me to discuss the ones that are things we'll be taking action on.
I couldn't read all the feedback because I think it was like a PDF, so we couldn't scroll.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. I know, and I don't know that I even have all those individual comments with me. There were a lot of comments about, there were a lot of comments about more hours. Getting there by 3 o'clock is too hard, which I know we're going to address that with the hours thing. Very few comments about services. One person wants us to get the Worcester Telegram online, which we're looking into. There was definitely some criticism of, I don't know why you're not open when the rest of the world is, and those kinds of things but I think getting the more hours in January, as long as, I think even if we do have to roll back to just curbside, I still think we should increase the hours in January to be open, more hours for people to pick things up. I think that's unless it really gets, unless the governor shuts the whole thing down. But if it is just that they roll back some of the things that we might decide not to be open, I think we should still consider increasing the hours. Sue's coming in. Just give me a second to get her in here. So the things that really, the comments, I'll send you guys all of the comments as a, because I have to screenshot and then PDF the screenshots because they're not, it's not.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, yes, the summary's fine.
Yeah.
So
anyway. I mean, people are using, number one thing people are using was curbside. And almost 90% of people who responded are from Bellingham, so we're getting mostly Bellingham residents. I did find it interesting that 29 of the 180 something people had used none of the services. So I'm curious if those are library users who still aren't using anything, or if they're just people that found the survey on Facebook and decided to take it, or are there people out there that are just still not doing anything? And I guess I can look at those individual people and see what else they responded to, other things. I haven't gotten that deep into the survey yet, but I think I probably want to do that. People that said they're not using any of our services yet, I want to see, like, did they use it in the past, or what I can find out about them to see if there is something that we're missing with people that were library users that still haven't come back. The first really question that we're going to take action on is we asked people to select the top 1 or 2 times they're most likely to visit the library. Saturdays was the #1 answer. More than half the people selected it as their first choice. Weekdays 2 to 5 was second. Weekdays 5 to 8 was third, and weekdays 11 to 2 was last. And when we asked them which evening they'd like us to be open, almost 70% didn't care which evening it was. There was a little bit of a higher preference for Thursdays, but I'm going to recommend that the night we stay open is Wednesdays for basically a staffing reason. We have a staff member who is available to work every Wednesday night that can't work the Saturdays, so it'll make the staffing more equitable among staff, the full-time the staff. So I'm proposing we expand the hours to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 11 to 5, Wednesday, 11 to 8, and Friday and Saturday from 10 to 3. So that will give us, we'll go from 27 hours a week to 38 hours a week. Still nowhere near the 50 that we used to be open, but I think it at least gives one night that we're there till 8 o'clock. So people really are working and have something else to do. They'll have a night to pick things up late. Or if things level off and someone wants to use the study room or use a computer on it in an evening, we have an evening opportunity available. Do you have any questions about that or any?
No, it seems like we could then analyze how many people utilize the library in the evening on
Right.
that one day, and then
right. I think my next, in my head is if things start getting a little more back to normal, maybe in February or March, we can add a second night, and then just add it one at a time, add the nights back. There still is no requirement from the state that we be open any number of hours at this point, because some libraries still aren't even open at all. So there's no pressure to do the 50 that the state requires. That would require being open out all 4 nights at 8 till 8, and then opening at 10 o'clock in the morning instead of 11. But the 11 o'clock allows the time in the morning for us to prep the curbside stuff. That's where it really does, it takes a couple hours to pull all those things and get the bags organized and get them out to the curb. So that's why we've delayed opening till 11. It gives us time to get that done.
Bernadette?
Yeah.
What's the staffing like? Are they flexible enough to add hours? Like, is our budget flexible enough to?
Yeah, we definitely have enough. Even if we were open regular hours, we have enough in our state aid fund to get through this fiscal year.
What about the staff though? They can pick up extra hours, like, they're okay with being closed now, but then when we want to open until 8, they're going to be available.
Well, yeah. So basically, Renee has another part-time job. So they are not open on Wednesdays. So she is willing to work every Wednesday night. So that will work for us for now. And then we'll put a part-timer with her. And the part-timers, basically, if they want hours, it's when the hours are available. And then if we open another night, I'll see if I can get. Some people like Mondays is not a bad day to work at night, because then you have a longer weekend. You don't have to come in until noon on Monday. So I don't think we'll have a hard time filling the Mondays. And then when we go back to normal, everything's back to normal. People work the hours they used to work. Funding wise, I think we're all set. I don't know what our state aid is going to be. The state budget still hasn't been finalized. I actually got an email from the Board of Library Commissioners today. They normally at the November meeting do the first certifications and send out payments for state aid. We would not be in that round because we had to apply for the waiver, but they can't even approve anybody because they don't know how much money they're getting from the state yet, because the state budget hasn't been approved. So they're hoping to approve in January what they normally approve in November, which means we probably won't get our state aid until February or March, the first payment. And the second one will probably come on time in April or May once they know what the money is. But we don't need the money right now. We still have $23,000 in our state aid account. In the town budget, I think we'll go through mid-February or early February, at least, taking care of paying the part-timers. So we're all set as far as salaries going with state aid.
So it's the part-timers that are affected by the extra hours?
Well, no, the full-time, I mean, people are there, so it's going to be, I mean, we're there till 5 o'clock now anyway. You know, the days we're open till 5, staff is there. We made the decision to close the doors at 3 so we could ramp up and figure out what we were doing. So no, being open till 5, the other 3 days, the only thing that's going to be different is the Wednesday night and then adding Saturday.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
I was just thinking as you go forward, like you said, and you add more nights.
Yeah.
For planning
We'll
purposes.
figure out the most equitable way to do it for staff, and you know, and that I tell you, some of the staff aren't thrilled that we're opening on Saturdays. Like, why can't they get it? But the number one answer people wanted when we asked them when they wanted to be open, and I explained to them, I think, you know, our job is to serve the public, and if that's what the public wants, we need to be there.
It's not for safety reasons that they don't want to open on Saturdays.
No, I think they just have it now of not having to work Saturday. And the other thing that is said is, you know, I think of like people that have kids. All week long, you're doing all this stuff to get their virtual learning and all this other stuff done. Being able to just do something on Saturday for an hour, to go to the library and pick out your stuff and not have to squish it in on a weekday when there's so much else going on in your lives. I think, and I think in the dead of winter when there's not much else to do, if people can just get out for you know, an hour and go to the library for half an hour and pick up their stuff, it'll give them something to do in the middle of a really cold, long winter. You know, so I think we need to open on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So I guess I would like a motion on the new hours.
Are we approving the new hours?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
can just
and of course, this is definitely pending, you know, if whatever the state does or whatever the town does, this is pending things staying, you know, status quo or better, you know, COVID-wise.
So I can make a motion to approve the hours as presented, pending no additional changes.
Right. That are outside of our control.
From the state, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll second that.
And like I said, I'm sorry.
In favor. This is Nicole.
In favor.
In favor, aye.
And I still think even if there is a rollback to just curbside only, we still expand those hours and we offer curbside because that's when people need it. It's expanding the hours people can get their stuff, because we don't have a ton of people really coming in the library. I think the largest day was 51 people or something. Is that, I forget the number, but it's not, you know, it's not a ton of people coming in every day. So people are picking stuff up on the curbside. That's what they need. The programming, people want us to focus on, it said workshops and educational programs for adults was the number one thing. And craft programs for adults. It's kind of funny. Then family craft programs. It's like, I think people are just so like, I'm not thinking about my kids at all right now. I want something. I want stuff for me. I don't know. That's what the results seem like. So as far as the craft program for adults, I'll talk about that in a little bit. How we're going to meet that without library doing things. We are working on finding people to do educational workshops. I have someone that's going to do a first-time home buyer thing in the spring. We're looking at. We have actually an author of a book that I recently read is actually she's from Milford, and she's gonna come and do a book talk, and then we're gonna make that our February book club title, and she's gonna come in to be part of the book club thing. So it's so we're trying to find new and creative ways to engage people.
Can we
online.
get Anna back to do an SAT class online?
That's actually a good idea. That's when our SATs.
Lily's taking them in May, so.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's a great idea. Yep, I can talk to her about that. Absolutely. So yeah, so we're trying to find new ways to engage people online that don't cost us a ton of money. We have some guy who's doing one in January. He's from Upton, and it's so it's a genealogy program, but it's like how to leave your children and grandchildren stuff so they can easily research your family. So it's like planning for the future as far as genealogy goes. So we're trying to find things that we can do that are somewhat inexpensive and still valuable to people, to the public. The museum passes, we surveyed on a whole bunch of outdoor venues. After we finished the survey, the vast majority of these people are closing down in November or December. So the friends are going to look at it in January or February, which ones they want to acquire. But Tower Hill was number one, Old Sturbridge Village, Garden in the Woods. So they're going to look at the price comparison versus the interest of the survey and decide which things to buy. So we have more outdoor things for when the weather gets better in March, because I think it'll still be important to have outdoor opportunities for people then. Okay, so then we surveyed people about expanding the things we could offer to them electronically. The number one thing that came out people wanted access to was consumer reports. And we can get consumer reports as part of a service from EBSCO that's called Flipster. It's an app. So people download the app and then you can buy consumer reports and other magazines. So if they have the app, they can access whatever library magazines that we purchase in the app. So we're looking at other titles that are available through Flipster that we don't get from Overdrive or RB Digital. So we can have at least 5 or 6 different magazines that we'll offer people in this new app. We'll also be getting, well, this is pending you guys. I really want you guys to approve this plan because this is spending that. So the consumer reports itself is a little over $1,000 for a year for the online version. The other magazines, I think it was actually one of you that talked about wanting the New Yorker. We can get the New Yorker through Flipster, and that's a couple $100. So we'll look at it and we'll get what people want. So we'll probably spend $1,500 on Flipster. Then Hoopla is $3,000. And the way Hoopla works, Hoopla offers streaming video, audiobooks, ebooks, a whole menu of things. Many people say it's way easier to use than Overdrive. The movies they're good movies, but they're not the newest things. You're not getting things you'd get on Netflix. But if you want to watch some like 80s movies, they're good titles, but they're not new. But it's still some streaming content that's free. They have audiobooks, music, album. You can actually download complete albums and listen to a whole album. So that is what I've hesitated getting Hoopla for a long time because I really am not a fan of their funding model because it's not typical to libraries, although it's becoming more common. It's basically you pay per use. So if you download a book and it costs $2.99, $2.99 comes off of our balance with them. And then when the money runs out, so what they do, and they're really good at doing it, I've talked to numerous libraries, is I think you start with patrons, allowing patrons just 3 downloads per month. So that's all they can get. So it limits how many any one person can use. And they're really good at managing the numbers to make it that people can't use more than you have in your budget for the item. We can also block, their prices range from like 38 cents a download to $3.99. She said 90% of the stuff is $2.99 and under, and some libraries block anything that costs more than $2.99, so you're not doing any $4 items that bring down your money fast. So I'll talk to them when we sign the contract. But it's a service that many libraries are using, even smaller ones than us, and we've been behind the 8 ball on this, so I think it's time we get on board with it. The third one is Creative Bug, which is an online craft program. It's from Joanne's Fabrics. Basically, it's online tutorials of how to do crafty things. And that's $1,000 a year. And we were looking at this. What we're going to try to do with this is look at all those craft supplies that we have in the children's program rooms and see if we have stuff that matches what their lessons are. And then we can put kits curbside that people can pick up a kit and go online and take the class, and they have all the supplies they need to do that. So those are the 3 that I'm proposing that we purchase now. The New York Times, that was our 4th option. It's expensive and the interface isn't as easy as I'd like. You know, I subscribe to New York Times now, and once my email's in there, I can just go in and read an article and everything. The way this works is if you want to read an article in the New York Times, you'd have to go to the library website first each day and get a code to plug in to access the resource. And I just think that's a complication step that I don't know how many people would actually do that. And so I'm gonna wait on the newspapers, the electronic newspapers. We had one person that recommended the Telegram. It's available from Newsbank. I have to find out what it actually looks. Is it the Telegram online or is it a Newsbank, which is a library resource that doesn't look like the newspaper? So I'm gonna hang off on the newspapers for now. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Did you look at the option for just the Sunday Times for the New York Times just on Sunday? Is that an option?
I
might do it once a week.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they do a Sunday subscription only. That's a good question.
Because that's like the best issue out of the whole week.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if they do electronic Sundays only for libraries. They didn't mention it, but they can't hurt to ask. Yeah. Because you still have to go get the code. That's the way their thing works.
You're not gonna do that
but if it's once a week, no one's going to do that every day.
Right. But once a week, maybe.
Yeah,
they have like a big book review thing and all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, I'll check into that, and we can make it, we can always make a decision to add things later on too. So I'm recommending that we add Hoopla, Consumer Reports, and Creative Bug as soon as possible, and then we can start rolling those things out. I think Hoopla will be great because they have a bunch of like old Christmas movies, so we get that done shortly. We can advertise, free place to get all your holiday movies besides Hallmark. So that's what I'm recommending. Do I need? I guess I'd like someone to make a motion to approve.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute, and the mute is different places in every one of these things I use. I'll make a motion to have the library subscribe to Hoopla, Creative Bug, and Consumer Reports.
I'll second
Just
that.
do all second.
In favor.
In favor.
In favor.
I think Creative Bug, and there were a couple of them that said if we did it before the end, they'd give us till the end of the year free, and the subscription would start January 1st, the official subscription. So we'll get a few weeks free out of them too. Great. The next thing is this year's budget. We're on target 34% through the year. We spent 36.7%. So there's nothing earth-shattering on there. I did. So as far as the part-timers, we have less than 3 months left in the part-timers in the budget and less than 4 months in Carol's line.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt. Who seconded?
Oh,
I think,
Nicole's
let's just say
motion,
Sue
Carol?
seconded.
Thank you.
Yeah.
so the rest of the budget is pretty good, but we will run out of money in sometime in February and March for those two things, and we'll stop paying those people out of state aid. Okay, the chiller for the HVAC system was approved at town meeting last night. So we have Northern Energy, the company that gave us the $99,000 and change estimate. We have, if they are the company that's chosen, we have to sign a contract with them by December 31st. Right now, Tim Acady, who is the building inspector, is writing up a summary proposal to send out. They really want to get 2 more quotes from 2 more HVAC companies. If it comes back lower, they can go back to Northern Energy and say, can you match this price? And so they're going to work out the details, but we will have a contract with someone before the end of the year. And the way it's going to work they said it will take 6 to 8 weeks for them to make the new system, and then they can schedule installation. So it'll be done with, it'll be done in March or April. It'll be done way before air conditioning season. We should have a new chiller. So that's good news. Our action plan is due to the Board of Library Commissioners. There's only one item on that is really, we need a discussion about. So because we split the boiler and the chiller into 2 separate projects, we need to plan a target date for replacing the boilers. And it's not that it's probably will depend on when the town has the money, but we need to put something in our plan as to when we would like to see it happen. I'm going to recommend FY23, which is 2 years from now. So it won't be next fiscal year. It'll be the year after. I did have a conversation with Dennis, like what if something happens in the meantime? And he said, obviously the town will have to come up with the money to, if they fail, they'll come up with the money to replace. But the boilers aren't as expensive or as extensive a work as the chiller. It's basically just taking out a furnace and putting a new one in. So if something were to happen in the meantime, they're fine with it. But I'm proposing that we move that to FY23, which will be the fall of, right now we're in FY21 now, so it'll be the fall of 2023. So it'll be 2 years from now, we'll be looking for the money for the boiler. And a lot of the things that were in my
Fall of 2022 or fall of 2023?
23.
So that's 3 years from now.
No, we're in 2020. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We're in
2 years is reasonable.
we're in FY21 right now.
Yeah.
So it'll be fall. It was 2 years from now. It is 2 years.
I think 2 years is
It is
reasonable.
it is 2 years. It's
might
not
be
3.
pushing
Yeah,
it.
it's fall of 2020, right? Because we're in FY21 now, and it's only 2020, and it's the fall. So yeah, okay. I don't know what year it is. So and basically, when I did our action plan, there were a whole lot of things that just got postponed because of COVID. Now I don't think we'll be unique in presenting that to the Board of Library Commissioners. So I still have next year to get the exterior of the building painted, because that was really what we had for this year initially. So that's next year. And then, you know, a lot of things are just delayed. And then early, we got the self-checkout station earlier than than was on there too. So we'll just plug along to meet as many of these goals as we can. But I don't think it'll be unusual in the 5-year plan that we're not going to accomplish all of the things that we stated, because I think budget's going to be really tight. I mean, there was a doom and gloom department head meeting talking about the FY22 budget, and that as far as what the state is going to, you know, as far as state aid, it's gonna be a really tough budget year. We'll talk about our draft presentation that we're going to submit to them, but we'll see where it goes when we send it to them. So this action plan needs to be approved by the trustees to send to the Board of Library Commissioners.
You need a motion, right?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the action plan for FY 23?
22.
22.
Actually, that's gonna. I have a 21 on there. The beginning one, it says 22. Yeah, it's FY22. So it's for next. It's from next July. It's a plan a year ahead, right? It's July. Okay. Yeah.
I'll second, Amy.
In favor, Nicole.
In favor, Sue.
In favor.
The other thing that's on here that I have to follow up with, BVT, because my last conversation with him was he thought they could do the siding this fall. He hasn't gotten back to me, so maybe we can. I don't know if the kids can do it in the spring. I'll get back in touch with them, but at some point, hopefully, worst case scenario, next fall they'll be available to do the siding part of the project, that exterior project. Okay. Circulation of items, it's going up. People are checking out more things. July, our first month open, we had 38. No, we actually weren't open that month. That was just the curbside month. We had 3852. In August, it went down slightly to 3543. I think that's because people were okay. The rush of getting stuff initially was over. But September went up to 4100, and then October is 4500. So 700 more items than the month before. We're at about 46% of what we did in those 4 months the year before. So we're still running about half the checkouts that we were doing in the past. The grid that's on my report, what I've highlighted in green are the days that were above average, just so we had, the weeks that were above average, so we can see, because it looks like curbside has gone down. Curbside was, the higher numbers were earlier between July and September, and then October, the attendance is up, and obviously the attendance is up in October. I mean, you know, we had the highest number of people we've had in the building in a week was 135. And the most checkouts during the week, 313, and the average is 300. So, and of the 119 people that average in the building, 50 of them are using self-checkout. So almost a half the people are checking out their own stuff when they're in the building. Okay, the two discussion points tonight. One is the budget. So you have the narrative and the Excel spreadsheet I sent to you. So basically no staff, the staff got 0 last year. There was no staff increases at all last year. So I think we are going to ask for something this year. Our budget was cut last year. Some other county departments weren't cut as much as we were. We got the waiver because we wasn't, but if you looked at other departments, there still were people that got salary increases last year. So I think we should put in for them and push for them to happen. Nothing is more than 3% other than the line item for the youth services librarian, which is Amanda's position that we had talked about upgrading that we were going to do last year that we postponed. I think we should still go for it. So if you look at the total here, last year was 569,000. This year I have 597,000, which is basically almost where we were the year before. It was 596, I think, the year before. So it's asking back for what we lost last year. If we don't, excuse me, I'll my phone.
Come from me, unavailable.
Sorry about that. It happens every time I have a meeting. As far as the waiver process going forward, they have enacted a new recommendation that no library can be on a waiver for more than 5 years. Last time we were on it, on our 4th year, we came back. So they're done, and if you add any increase to the budget, it makes the waiver process much simpler in future years. So I think we should ask for an increase. We can always tailor this back a little bit if it's too much, but I think we should go for what I have here. When I look at Amanda's line item, she's still being paid $5 less an hour than the average youth librarian in oh, Tim's coming in, hang on. Tim Arcadi's coming into our meeting. I don't know if he wants to talk about the HVAC. Hi, Tim.
So you want to deposit that tomorrow, correct?
Hi, Tim.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi. You have something to share with us, or are you just listening in?
No, I just saw you had a meeting, so I figured
Okay.
I'd pop in.
Okay, we actually already discussed the HVAC, but
Okay.
we're discussing budget now.
Okay. So
Okay.
I had a conversation with Dennis about it, but I can touch base with you at another time.
Okay. So like I said, her salary is still greatly less than other people in the position. I mean, as we discussed in the past, she does not have the master's degree, but she has a lot of experience. And I have to say, during this whole COVID thing, she's been invaluable for keeping things up and going and helping us things. So I think we need to push for that upgrade of that position. The other one that's up is 14% is the part-time salaries, and that's just getting more back into the line that we lost from last year. The electricity number is still I have that in yellow because I don't know what that number is yet. I'm working with Mary on getting that. All that was taken out of our budget last year was $4,000 something, and I don't think that is entirely accurate. The town gets solar credits, so we get a bill from National Grid and we don't pay the bill. The town pays the bill after they apply some solar credits to it. So I don't know how much our actual bill was. So that number, I'm gonna get a real number for next month's meeting to plug in there when I know exactly how much we should be budgeting for electricity. This is the best estimate I could do. I don't think the 10,000 we did that we appropriated last year is enough. So I put in the 19.7, but I'll wait and see what that really ends up needing to be, because I don't have all the information in my records because the town has it in their solar credits. So it was confusing to me. So until we get that straightened out, that I can't figure out that number.
Wouldn't the new system that we're getting be more energy efficient?
It is. They've estimated that's going to save us $2,500 a year. So I gave Mary that to add that into the calculation too. They're estimating.
Right.
They've estimated that the new chiller will save $2,500 a year. So she has that number to put into whatever the actual number is. So that will affect whatever whatever the final outcome here is. The gas and heating, it's the 12,000. It's up 2,000 based on what it looks like it's happening this year. Technical maintenance is just $200. That's the cost of the public computers. Our Cedar Mars membership is projected to actually go down for the first time in I don't know how long. They've changed their formula, how they divide the bill among libraries, and we're one of the libraries that are somewhat benefiting. It's going down from like 23 something to 22 something. So it's going down about $1,000. And the rest of that is, I've made a decision, our state membership to ALA, instead of having a gold MLA, instead of having a gold membership, I just did a bronze because we don't need 3 people to go to conference when the conferences are virtual. So I kind of made some savings there. I did put a little more money in our janitorial supplies because in the event, right now, all of the COVID supplies we're buying, the masks and all that stuff, the extra sanitizer is coming from CARES Act money that the town has. I don't know if that'll be there next year. So just in case, I want to have more money in our janitorial fund to buy things that we might still need. Our office supplies are the same, and our books and periodicals have to go up the $4,500 because we have to spend 15% of our budget on our total budget on materials that people can check out. So that takes that up to 90. So the estimate right now is for an increase of $27,700, and it's about a 4.86% increase. I think we were cut 4.87 last year. So this is like just bringing us back to where we were 2 years ago. Does anybody have any questions? This is due on December 15th, so we'll be voting on the final. I'll have a final number next month. We'll vote it at the December 10th meeting, and I can get it up to the town before the December 15th.
Do you think they'll give you a hard time about the youth service librarian?
They might, but I think we can make the argument that it was in our budget last year. We pulled it because of COVID, and really, with someone that's being underpaid more than $5 an hour for repeated years it's just.
And it's not a lot of dollars. It looks like a big percentage, but it's not a lot of dollars.
It's $6,000. It's not even $6,000. It's $5,600. It's just not. I mean, she's entering her 9th year. And it's just not fair. It really isn't fair to her that to be making $34,000 after 8 years is, as a professional, is just not. We got her inexpensively because it was a part-time position initially. We were able to upgrade it to a full-time. So she got benefits, but really didn't get the salary at that point. And it's been postponed too many years. So I think we have to at least make the ask and deal with it if we can't get it. If we can get a portion of it, any portion we can get would be better than nothing.
I agree.
Well, we had discussed though that some of the jobs that we were looking to be done in that position weren't being done.
Yeah.
Has that changed?
The things that weren't being done were the teen services, and there's no teen services to do right now because we don't have any after school programs. So I think we'll deal with that. And my kind of leaning is to what we were doing right before COVID happened was Heidi was doing a couple of days in the teen room and Amanda was doing the others. And I think that is probably the model we'll go back to, is we'll have a part-timer. We probably will have to hire another part-timer when things get back to full hours. Heidi left and we didn't replace her because we had enough hours to split among the rest of the part-timers. But when we are open 50 hours a week, we'll need another part-timer. So we'll probably get someone who is anxious, idea of working with teens, working in the teen room. And then we can split the hours, and then she can still do all these administrative things that she's doing to tremendously help the library, and then still be responsible for the teen collection, because she's really good at knowing what teens want to read, and keeping the teen collection, keeping some stuff going in the teen room, and get her someone to work with to expand the programming in the teen room. She was on board with it. They were starting to do it. Her and Heidi were really starting to do it before everything fell apart. So, and I think we hire someone that really does want to work with teens as well as work, the desk. So we don't need to approve it. It's just it's a first one, and there is I have the detailed narrative that I wrote out if you want any real detail of what all those numbers mean, and how I came to this. And if you have any individual questions you want to get in touch with me offline individually, that's fine. We can discuss them. But it's most of the line items are level funded, or if they're not, there's a reason that they're not. And then there is our salary increases for staff that didn't get any last year.
It looks great.
Great. And I'll get that. Hopefully I'll get that. I didn't bug Mary about the electricity number because she had town meeting last night. So I figured it could wait till next month to get the exact number. The last thing we have is the girls statue. So I don't know, have you guys been by the library and saw the new fence damage? Basically the plow backed into the fence that hadn't been repaired from the last time a car drove into the fence. So luckily we didn't get it fixed and get it damaged again. So I sent it to DPW, and Dawn is recommending that we take the fence down and replace it with, they can do cement bollards that are black instead. I just had this vision. I didn't want those big yellow, like don't go here kind of things, but they can get black covered cement bollards. And he thought his idea was to take down the fence, put 9 black bollards up, so 3 on each side, leave the portion that's facing the library door open. So like in the past, kids could go in, and where the statue is, that area is open. But so 3 on each side, actually it wouldn't be 9, it'd only be 8. 3 on the side and 1 in 7, whatever. To surround it with bollards and then fill in between that space with rocks. So it's like they did in the front, some kind of mini boulders that the DPW can get for us for nothing. So the cost of them doing that is $2,300. That's all about materials. The DPW will do the work, the labor for free. So I think we have to do something.
Bernadette, are they hitting it like What, after the sun goes down?
The plow guy was in the middle of the night. The older gentleman who hit it, no, that was in the middle of the day. He was backing out. He was parked in the parking space that was directly across, like facing the field. And when he backed up, it was an older gentleman, and he just kept going, and he backed into the fence. The plow guy, I don't know what he did, but he hit it. It's pretty bad. He hit it pretty hard. I don't know how it definitely was plowing over an overnight plowing thing. But if there were bollards there and there's not enough space for a vehicle to get through, they'd hit the bollard, and then you replace the bollard covering as opposed to replacing a whole fence.
Are there like spotlights that shine on it at night?
The flagpole is there. The other thing is, I think the bollards could probably have reflective tape on them too, which might make it easier for people to actually see. I'm not against getting rid of the fence because a lot of people really dislike the fence. They like, you put the girl in jail, were some of the comments we heard. So I'm not against. My initial fear of putting up bollards was I didn't want it to look like, you know, you're driving into Stop and Shop. That was kind of my, I wanted it to look tasteful. But I think Dawn gets the idea of what I want. And I think if they were just black covered cement bollards with some rocks and some stones, I think it could look decent. I've often wanted to talk about putting in like flower, you know, boxes or something there too, which I think could look nice. So I don't know if that's something we could hang between the bollards during the good season, you know, the right weather season or something. But I think people will like being able to walk in and touch. The kids used to love to touch the statue, and that's what the point was initially. So
we could dress her up for the seasons like at Nicole's house.
Exactly. So I think it's a good plan. It will cost, and actually, I as far as paying for this, I said something about paying for it out of the thing, but I think I have to check with Beth. It might be covered by whatever the cost of the things might be covered by the insurance of the person that, you know, the town insurance covers the plow drivers. So, and I think, so I'll find out if we can pay for it with some other source as opposed to our grounds and maintenance fund. But we do have money. We have over $10,000 in that fund. So it would cover the $2,300 to pay for it. But if we can get it paid for out of the insurance, which I think it should be actually, the more I think about it, I think someone's insurance should cover that it was an accident. Now I would like to ask them to take down the fence as soon as possible, even if DPW can take down the fence before winter and even put up Jersey barriers or something there just to get through the window so that we don't have the broken, at least it'll look like we're starting to repair it as opposed to having just a broken fence there.
I walked right by it today. I forgot to even look that it was
I didn't notice when I was there last week. Are bollards, and I apologize if I was just trying to Google, are those the like upright posts? Yeah,
it's an upright post that's cement, and they sell covers for them that are different colors. So we can get black ones that look nicer, and then put some reflective something on them so they're not.
Is the height of those why you're going with that instead of the stones that like we have, or boulders?
Yeah, I think, well, the boulders, the boulders are meant people driving forward. I think the boulders we wouldn't want the boulders to be smashed into the statue. You know what I mean? So I think you need something that's really going to prevent, because if the boulders aren't anchored, if a car hits them, I would assume they might be able to move. I don't know.
We had long discussions about this when we were putting them in front of the community room, remember?
Right, yeah.
No, I'm just thinking if, with it being open, I mean, not that, you know, boulders or bollards, whatever, would have any difference between them, but is that statue sturdy enough? Kids are going to hang off it.
It is anchored.
Like they're going to climb over the rocks,
and they've done it they did it for years before we had the thing around it. It is anchored. The statue is anchored into the ground. That was when we were looking at what to do with it. I don't know if this is before you guys were there, but when the statue was put up, there were fence posts put on the corners, and it just had hanging chains between the fence posts. That's what it was. So those fence posts got hit and got knocked down, and the kids would sit on the chain and swing back and forth, and the chains all broke. So we were trying to find a better solution. Our first choice in solution was actually to move the statue and put it in front of the children's room on a pedestal. That was just outside. It was like $24,000 or something. It was outside of any realistic budget to do that. And then we still would have had to put something in front of the door, because then a car could drive through the door in theory if there was nothing blocking that spot. So that's why we opted for the fence. And it was a relatively inexpensive option because the person that did this, the brick work, donated it. All we actually paid for was a fence. Mr. Fence installed it for free. So it was a relatively cost-effective way to get the immediate need met. But that was probably, what, 6 or 8 years ago, at least, I'm guessing, that was done. Were you on the board, Sue, when that happened? We did that? Yeah, it was a while ago. Amy, were
I
you?
can't remember though.
You weren't, so it was before you.
I've been here for, this will be 6 or 7 years, and it was before me.
Yeah, so it was a while ago. It was definitely a while ago that we put the fence up. You know, the stone patio, the brick patio will still stay there. You know, and it'll just be, the bollards will be on the outside of the cement part. So we'll still have the little I think it'll look nice. And it's a good solution. But I would like also to get the broken fence down before winter if we can. I'll talk to them to see if they can put something up temporarily and it might just be Jersey barriers, and that's okay. I don't think that's a big deal. If it's, you know, it's under construction over the winter, we'll get something done in the spring. If they can get it done over the winter, great. And they might be able to, I don't know. But somebody's got to take the fence down. That's the first thing. It's got to take down what's there.
Mhm.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess I'd like a motion just in case we do have to pay for it to expend $2,300 for the statue fence.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The statue protection plan.
I will make a motion for the statue protection plan, which, do I put the cost in there?
I would just say up to $2,300. Yeah, up to, because
Up to $2,300.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll second.
Favor?
Favor. This is Nicole.
In favor, Laura Howard. Who seconded?
Amy?
Thank you.
Oh.
That is all I have. Do any of you have anything else?
Mhm. We're good?
We're good.
Okay. Call the meeting to a close at 7:53 p.m.
Thank you.
See you in December.
I miss seeing your faces.
Too. Weird.
Maybe March, maybe April.
Who knows?
Okay. Take care.
Good night,
Take care.
guys.
See you. See you. Bye-bye.